Hello, everybody. James here. Storytime with Dutch, episode 23, and we've got Dutch turning around. Hey, there's the figure for the audio listeners. There's a doll of Zeb Colter waving at me, threatening me slightly as well.
That was him.
Well, okay, right. Let's forget the intro and everything. I want to ask something about the doll, because I ask a lot of people who I interview about merchandise and stuff like that, and how many units did you sell of your figures? What were the royalties like? You don't have to give me an exact number or anything, but what was the percentage of royalties you got for that kind of thing?
Very low. Since just because they sell tons and tons and tons of merchandise, that doesn't mean the talent actually gets all that money. Mm. I mean, one guy wrote a book, and he pushed it through WWE, and I don't know. Wait a minute.
Clang.
I'm all messed up here.
Shall I
Excuse
pause?
me, people. No, I'm okay now.
Okay.
But and I asked a guy one time. I says, "How much did you make on that?" And I forgot. I'm trying to think of the guy who told me, and I can't remember. But you would know who he is. He says he gave me this number. And I says, what? That's all you, it's like $10,000 or something, which sounds okay as a lump sum. But he sold a ton of books. I said, wait a minute, you sold, and I had the figure. I said, that's all you made on it? And he said, yeah. He said, you only get like $1.50 a book. I said, and you write the book. Yeah, he said, they do everything else. I says, well, I think $1.50 is not enough, because he sold like 50,000 books or something. I don't know. But anyway, whatever he sold, his return was very, very small in relation to what he sold. Now, of course, they got to go and they got to have it printed, and then they got to have it shipped, and they got to do this. And I got all that. But they take the biggest chunk of it, and then you just get, I guess, a creator's fee or something. I don't know what you get.
You get shafted is what you get, especially when you go through a publisher, and then if you go through WWE through a publisher as well.
No kidding. But now Amazon, you can go to Amazon if you want. If there's any would-be authors out there, write the book. I don't give a crap what it's on. Write the book. Then you send it to Amazon, and they will print you a book. And they will print you a book according to how many pages in it for like $3 or $4. They'll print you a book. And then if you have to, well, yeah, and you'll have to promote it yourself. But then you get the bulk of what you sell. So if you only sell 1,000 copies, you might make at least $5,000. You make $5 on a book, even at a low price. I mean, if you think you got 1,000 people who would buy your book, then just put it out there. But you have to write it first. That's the main thing. I was reading this woman one time. She's talking about writing books. She said, don't think about it, do it. So I was thinking about writing my first one. So I just went and wrote it. And I didn't know what to do with it. And I had this friend, Mark James, who helped me edit my book. And my friend Rick, they helped me put the book together. And then I had it. And then 11 months later, I wrote another one. And now I'm writing the third one. I don't know. I don't have a name for it. I said somebody needs to write and suggest names, but I haven't had a name that really kind of urged me to name the book that. But anybody's got any ideas, you can write me Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2 L's at gmail.com.
And last time you mentioned that on a clip I posted, we got dozens and dozens of responses as well. So there might be some good ones. I got some emails as well. I'll send them over to you. Just because we were talking about merchandise, Was it only the figures that you got, or was it anything else? I mean, was We the People T-shirts. Did you get a cut of those, or was it Jack
No,
Swagger?
I didn't. I didn't. I didn't get nothing of the T-shirt. They made one of a hand, but I think that's because they didn't make one and wouldn't make one, and the We the People gimmick got over. We'd walk out there, the people would stand up. And, knowing lazy people like I do, they don't stand up for no reason. But he finally had one made, and I need to ask him. I don't think he made much off that either. I know they had to sell some. And I told him one time, why don't you just make your own shirts? I said, why don't we make our own shirts and put our own table outside on the street? All they could do is they could come out there and shut you down because you're having you're selling a patented product, or they own it. And that's the thing, like the name's Zeb Colter. People still know me as that, but I cannot advertise myself as that because it was their idea. So it's in their domain on their platform. Therefore, the WWE owns it. And somebody asked me one time, and I may have talked about this before, what about We the People? I said, no, because if they could have, WWE, they would have taken We the People, but they can't take it because it's in the public domain. It's in the Constitution. We the People. All Americans own We the People, and anybody can use it. So, but anyway, that's the thing about doing things on other people's platforms. They end up the owner of what you do. Now I've thought about podcast. I've done podcasts, but I don't own the podcast. I just do the podcast. But the person who did it, they own everything in it, right? Or no? Is that the way it works?
Yes. I mean, this does relate to me quite a lot, actually, doesn't it?
No, but I've done it before, and I used to do it for this one guy, and I don't know, 6 months of stuff, and he paid me a little bit, but he didn't promote it either, so he couldn't have made much money on it. And he kept wanting to do it, and I kept, because the podcasts were getting increasingly harder and harder and harder to do. So I finally said, I'm not interested in doing the podcast anymore. He said, no, it's doing good. I said, I'm not seeing any money on it, so I don't know how it's doing. So if you have another great idea, let me know, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So, I mean, just for the record, I pay you better, don't I?
Oh, a lot better than what that guy was.
There you go.
That guy forgot to pay me one week. And I texted him, I said, hey man, what's up? I says, you forget something? No, I don't think so. I said, yeah, I think you did. And I didn't care if he paid me or not. I'm just playing with him, really. It wasn't that much anyway. I said, where's my money? Oh, man, this come up. I said, well, why don't you just call yourself now a full-fledged wrestling promoter? Because that's who you're sounding like now. You're making excuses. You can't pay this. I said, forget it. And that's when I stepped away. Oh, no hard feelings. He wasn't making no money on it either. But don't tell me you're going to, compensate me so much and then forget me. That's disrespectful, I think.
Mm-hmm. I will. I think I've forgotten as well once or twice. But you're on the ball, and I actually do pay you. But I mean, I actually do forget. So
no. You're one of the good ones. So when I'm supposed to do this, the money is there.
There you go. I've got that on camera as well. I'm one of the good ones. Remember that.